tell me about you and Uma. Do you know of any relationship between a director and a star that's the same? Does any of that influence you? Do you look with all of your knowledge of movies, in the same way you know all these scenes, and think about, I mean, are you in some guru way shaping a career and a person that you have sort of total emotional and intellectual admiration for?
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would say.
How would you say it?
I don't know if I would say shaping. I mean, if I am, she's equally shaping me.
Okay, but right, go ahead. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny. I mean, the example I keep looking towards, all right, is the way Joseph von Sternberg and Marlene Dietrich, all right, had their relationship, all right, and then there's a little bit, even though if I say it, people go ooh la la because they were married, and that's not where I'm coming from, but the way Jean-Luc Godard and Anna Karenina, all right, had their relationship on cinema, and me and Uma are friends. We could never make a movie together again, and that would just be okay. We'd still always be friends, all right, but I like that team partnership thing, all right, that the screen teams, you know, and Uma's not the only person I have it with. I have it with Sam Jackson too. I have it with quite a few people, all right. But the thing is, you know, with Uma, it's special, and the man-woman aspect of the director and the actress is a very special aspect to this, and I do hearken back to wanting to treat her like the way von Sternberg treated Dietrich and show her off in the best way. And one of the things about Uma that can be problematic with her when she gets cast in other movies and stuff is, you know, she's just so ravishing, all right, that like for instance, okay, if I'm going to do a movie that's supposed to be a realistic movie about a waitress in a coffee shop, all right, you know, it seems weird to cast Uma in that. That sounds Hollywood. Oh, a wet waitress in a coffee shop looks like Uma Thurman. All right. And now she actually just did this HBO movie, Hysterical Blindness, which plays this like Jersey girl, and she was fantastic in it. So she's showing me how wrong I am. But you know what? You know my point. Right. All right. But the way von Sternberg, when he's going to do a movie with Dietrich, you know, he built it around her. He knew her physicality. He knew what she could do. He wanted to bring out different aspects about her. All right. When you're writing something for Uma and want it to be, you know, the Uma show, all right. You know, I can write for her that willowy physicality she has. I mean, as I'm writing it, she's gonna look like the bomb in that yellow tracksuit. All right, I put her in Bruce Lee's tracksuit, and all of a sudden it's not Bruce Lee's anymore. All right, and then, you know, her long blonde hair and, you know, those arms that are all elbows, and you know, those legs that are all kneecaps, and she just kind of like bends with the wind as she's fighting with a strike. Oh, that'll look great. All right, and I try to, you know, push her strengths and actually take her in slightly different directions.
Do you like the idea that there is the mystery of people don't quite know what the relationship is?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, there is a little bit about that. I mean, the problem I have with it is people always trying to ask us to define it. I mean, one thing that's happened that's been kind of a drag is, you know, I said, oh, she's my muse.
Right.
All right. Well, I meant that. All right, I completely mean
And what did you mean by that?
Well, I guess, you know, what I meant is she's inspired me, especially when it comes to this movie.
Right.
All right, you know, I mean, she completely and utterly inspired me. If Uma's mother never met Uma's father, there'd be no Kill Bill. All right. Yeah. Having said that, though, I was also, and I meant every word of it, I was also paying her a poetic compliment, too. And now you go to a press junket, and then everybody asks that, all right? And all of a sudden now they're dissecting it, and this poetic compliment is being put under a microscope, and all the poetry is being drained out of it, and it's kind of a drag.
I agree with you, but
you're not asking that. But
no, I'm not asking that. That's right. But I mean, it is just you just know that there's some dynamic here that's not normally there. Yeah. It is the dynamic that you reflected on with Marlene Dietrich, and is also somebody that inspires you to be better than you are, and you inspire her to be.
I agree. I mean, I don't really want to nail what it is I bring out of her or what she brings out of me, because I don't really know, to tell you the truth. Right. But I know it when I see it. Yeah. And you know,
when you feel it.
Yeah, and when I feel, or even when I watch the work and everything, it's like, oh, you know, I'm a little different when I work with Uma, and she's a little different when she works with me.
She is the best of her. What? Finish it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to modern actresses right now, and she's as good as it gets. I mean,
as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Uma can go. Here's the thing. All right. If Uma is comfortable making the movie, if she's comfortable, if she's having a good rapport with the other actors, more or less, and having a good rapport with the director, more or less, and particularly the director. All right, if she's having a good rapport and she's comfortable, you know, her work can stand up against anybody's. All right, but that's not the whole deal, though, because you have that. But then you add on the fact that she's the only actress, as far as I'm concerned, that has the true silver screen nitrate film glimmer, all right, of the, you know, I can make the Dietrich analogy with no problem whatsoever. I can make the Garbo analogy. Not only that, it almost becomes weird. Like, God, Uma would probably even be a bigger star if she was in the 30s.
Yeah.
Because that was the time that people like Uma Thurman ruled Hollywood. And, you know, there's one more aspect about Uma that I think we should bring up, especially after watching that clip and what we were talking about, is, you know what? As opposed to a lot of actresses out there, she's lived a life.
Yeah,
Uma Thurman has lived a life, all right? You know, her parents gave her a big deal life, all right? And her family and her brothers, and then her own adventures that she's gone on. And she hasn't just lived her life on movies.
She didn't start on movies when she was 7 and then end up with
and then,
no other experience.
Or doing, you know, all these movies back to back to back to back to back. So all she knows about life is her trailer and, you know, and the sets and everything. You know, she has an intellectual curiosity that's pretty much second to none. All right, and
an intellectual curiosity second to none among the people you know.
Yeah, exactly. This person might be this, but, you know, her curiosity is right there.
You have a reputation for taking actors and maybe actresses, certainly actresses too, and in a sense, because of the way you cast them in the performance they deliver for you, it reinvigorates their options for performances and character roles. You've clearly done this for Carradine. I mean, why did you know? What was it about him that made him right for this?
Well, it's funny because I've always thought of David Carradine as like a magnificent actor. I mean, literally one of those great mad genius actors of Hollywood, with Nicholson and everything. And and
that's a perfectly way to say it.
And you know, I've always, you know, and the thing is, you know, I've kind of followed his career, and even when he does like these crappy exploitation movies, not all of them are crappy, by the way, but when he does them, like, he's always delivering the goods. He's got that great old pro quality, and he's got that, you know, whatever. Anyway, the thing is, as I was writing the script, I ended up getting his book. He wrote an autobiography called Endless Highway. And it is fantastic. His life, imagine, you know, being John Carradine's son and all that stuff. You know, he has lived a life worthy of a Charles Dickens novel. And his writing is really good. So he writes it like Kerouac meets Charles Dickens, all right, which is quite good, all right? Yes. And I was going on his life journey with him. And as I'm reading it more and more and getting more and more fascinated with it, I'm like, God, he would be a fantastic Bill. I mean, forget about all the kung fu analogies and all that stuff. That all ended up playing into it. But in reading the book, and you know, it's like, God, he could be Bill. And I even had a compadre when it came to that. I gave Ethan Hawke the book to read. He loved it. And he goes, Quentin, this is your Bill. This guy's Bill.
After you thought about the idea and you're looking for confirming sort of sense.
Well, I just actually wanted Ethan loves to read. I wanted, you got to read this great book.
Yeah, right. I got you. Okay. Now, what did you hope for between the chemistry between the two of them? The chemistry between these two people, especially in a scene like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, I always wanted Bill to be older. I wanted him to be more like a teacher, older, mentor, father figure kind of figure. But, you know, they obviously were lovers. And, you know, it's dicey when you're playing with this younger girl, older guy thing, all right? So I wanted there to be sizzle. In fact, there had to be, or it would be nice try, but no cigar. Yeah. All right? And I said
without the sizzle, the movie was not as good.
Yeah, well, the last thing in the world you want is like Uma goes to kiss Dave and the audience goes, ugh. Yeah, I know. You know, and I've been to those movies. Yeah, I've seen that, and I've heard
and sometimes they're married.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tell me about it. And so yes. I've actually said that about a commander, like, they have no chemistry together.
All right, so you wanted to, and when did you know you had it?
To tell you the truth, I felt I had it on the day, or else I'd probably still be there shooting it. But I didn't really 100% slam dunk know until we edited those scenes together. Because one of the things I wanted to do is just have this whole organic thing, like everything in its own time. It was going to be the journey that was going to tell us everything. You know, the writing of the movie, that journey would tell me what I needed to do when it came to writing the scene between Bill and the bride. Same thing of shooting of it. All right, we would do that the last thing. So by the time we got to shoot it, we would be informed by everything
Exactly,
we've done.
right,
Well, you know
right.
what? That was the same thing about the editing. I didn't let my editor, Sally Minky, who's worked in all my movies, don't do any assembling on the Bill and Bride stuff. We have to cut the whole movie together, and then we'll do the Bill and Bride scene. So I didn't know if I had my ending truthfully, like, slam dunk in my pocket until at the end of this process I cut those scenes together.
And how did you feel when you saw it?
I felt pretty good. I felt kind of relieved.
All right. I want to go to one thing here. Back to this relationship quickly because we got this on tape. This is Uma talking about the relationship between you and her on this show. Roll tape.
You give him a rule, he'll break it. You know, I mean, it's actually the great genius of being a self-taught, self-created person is that nobody ever told him probably or encouraged him that he could be good at something, you know, that he would be good at something when he was young and how to do it. So since he probably, I mean, I don't, you know, can't speak for him, but he had to teach himself everything. So he's completely original. His imagination, his freedom creatively, he certainly trusted me a lot and has given me huge challenges. And that is an invaluable thing. I mean, when somebody believes in you and trusts you and throws on your shoulders, you know, the power to change yourself, to do something completely different you've never done before, it's a real gift for the actor.
Right. What's the most important thing you've learned from Quentin?
What would be the most important thing I've learned from him? You know, he always surprises me. I don't know. He once said that I gave him wisdom and he gave me courage. And I can't speak to any wisdom that could have possibly come from me to him or where it's landed or what, or whether I possess any. But he certainly, I certainly had to find a lot of courage, and more than I knew I had in this adventure, in this battle that was this movie. So, yeah, I guess he gave me courage.
That's what you were going to say.
Yeah, I didn't know that was what she was going to say, and that was the first thing that came to my mind. Is
you give her wisdom, she gives you. You give her courage, she gives you
wisdom. Yeah.
Wisdom. How does she give you wisdom?
I don't know how you describe that,
Right,
but she's wise.
Well said. Congratulations on Kill Bill Volume 2.
Thanks.
There is going to be Kill Bill Volume 3?
One of the things I'm going to do, yes, is one, it's going to take about a decade for me and Uma to like recover from this one. All right, but one thing that's actually really cool about when, like, you know, one, I like the idea of being an artist and being able to do this anyway, is you know, I own my characters, so I can kind of do whatever I want with them. All right, and also that is
You
like,
create them, you own them.
I own them, yeah. And Uma is something I'm going to know for like the rest of my life, so I can make long-range plans. All right, and one of the things that's really cool is I think 15 years from now, I want to go back to this character, all right? And what I want to do is tell the story of Vivica Fox's daughter, Nikki, all right? She spent the last 15 years getting ready to go and kill the bride, all right? And then I'm going to follow her journey as she tries to go and track Uma down and kill her. And it's very interesting because it's like, you know, Nikki, the little girl, she deserves her revenge just as much as Uma deserved hers. And that will be the only way that the whole revenge cycle that started in this movie can ever end.
And then it becomes a trilogy.
Yes, exactly. But there's one other last thing.
What's that?
And that's, I love the bride. I mean, I really love the bride. And she deserves some peace. She's fought so long and she's gone through so much. I want to be able to let her put her sword on her shelf and let it sit there for a long time and not contrive some BS for her to take it down. She deserves a good life until, you know, 15 years from now. I want her to have 15 years in peace.
The name of the World War II movie, which may be coming at some point, is called
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious Bastards. And we now have an ending for that. Is that what you're going to shoot next? Or
yeah,
not?
that'll probably be exactly what I do next. I mean, the only thing that's out there, I got to wait till I kind of chill out a little bit after this movie and stuff, is maybe I want to like do some 5-week movie or something, some movie in between going onto another mountain.
Right. Sort of what Kill Bill started out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it started out to be. But I had a really interesting conversation. I met Ellie Coppola, Francis Ford Coppola's wife, and she just asked one question, like, you know, like the people ask, you know, like, oh, so what you going to do next? So I ended up like really answering the question, all right? And I'm describing, well, look, you know, I've just been on climbing Mount Everest, and I don't know, do I want to climb Mount Everest again, my next movie? And so I'm trying to figure out, do I want to do that? And she sits there, and she's listening to everything I say. And then when it's all over with, she goes, well, I think maybe this is your time to climb Mount Everest. You're at the age to climb Mount Everest. You're at the passion to climb Mount Everest. There'll come a time that you won't want to climb Mount Everest anymore. I think this is your mountain climbing days.
I think she's right.
I think she is too.
Thanks, friend. Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Pleasure. Quentin Tarantino for the hour. Kill Bill Volume 2. You can also buy Kill Bill Volume 1 and take a look at it before you go see Kill Bill Volume 2 at the theaters. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.